where do I start with this one? As you can see from the title, today's video we're going to be talking all about my moving update and sharing with you some exciting updates and plans and just kind of what's been happening, because you may remember that over the last few months I've been talking quite a lot about buying a house by myself before I'm 30, talking about the house buying process, what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, how it's going, like basically just updating you a lot along the way. And I thought it was about time we had another update, because the last time I think I filmed one was maybe like April-ish, I think, I'm not sure. I will leave the playlist, I'm not on Instagram, I will leave the playlist up above so you can check out the previous videos if you wanted more insight into like budgets or where I'm looking, etc. Like I will leave all of that in the previous videos. I don't want to repeat it all because it's a lot of stuff, but there's been a few changes and I'm really excited about them, and I thought I would sit down and update you. So as it stands, I am currently on the 7th of July. I'm uploading this in about a month's time because I want it to be kind of later on that I talk to you about it, because I'm not quite ready to, like, I don't know, I like the suspense. As it stands, it's a month, well, less than a month now until I move house. I'm moving house in about 29 days and counting, and I'm so excited. I can't tell you, like, this flat, I'm really sad to be leaving because I just adore this flat. I adore the area, I adore the flat. Like, I've never lived in somewhere that has felt so much like home. Like, I walk in the front door and I'm like, oh, I live here and this is just the most calming, beautiful space ever. Like, it's just the nicest flat. It's really well insulated so I can't really hear my neighbours. I've got a beautiful balcony and it's just such a great flat. Like, I've really enjoyed living here. Unfortunately, I did kind of live here through COVID, so I haven't been able to fully experience living here properly. I am moving very, very close to my friends, as I said before, which is why I'm so excited, because I cannot wait to be close to my friends and be able to like pop around for a coffee and not have it be like this whole planned out thing, because it takes an hour to get here and an hour to get back, and like it's just going to be so nice to know that I can just see them on a whim and it doesn't have to be like fully planned out, and I'll be able to see them more and not just over FaceTime. Partially influenced by the pandemic, however, it will just be really nice. And I'm not buying, which I think is like the one thing I need to kind of say. I'm not buying a house yet. And I have got a flat. I am moving, like I said, the weekend that you're watching this. I have a beautiful flat, which actually, funnily enough, I think my manifestation brain just really worked in my favour, because I was looking at flats and I couldn't really find anything I liked. And I remember sitting on FaceTime to one of my best friends and saying, oh, I just wish that I could find this exact flat but back home. Like, I just wish I could find this flat but there. Like, if I could pick this flat up, put it in a little box, move it and put it back up somewhere else, I absolutely would, because I love it. And weirdly enough, that evening she was checking property websites, because let's be honest, us girls love a good property search. Like, whenever my friends are moving, I'm the one that's always on Rightmove. Like, I just love looking at Rightmove. And she sent me over this flat, and I'm not even kidding you, within 15 minutes I had seen it, made an offer, and it was mine. And it's literally this flat but slightly different. So like, the layout is kind of the same in that, like, the bedrooms are in the same position, the bathrooms are in the same position, this kind of space is in the same position. It's just flipped, and honestly it's beautiful and I cannot wait to share it with you. I cannot wait to show you. I'm so excited. It's so beautiful. It's honestly, it's so much cheaper than this place, but exactly the same. And I'm so excited to live there. I know I keep saying it, but I am. And the reason that I decided to rent is because basically I have found it really difficult to find a property at the moment. And speaking to other people who are also looking to buy, they've kind of said the same thing. So a lot of what is available at the moment is very slim pickings. And I think that's partially due to, I think it's nearly wholly due to the pandemic, in that I personally, if I had bought a house, wouldn't really be wanting to move now, because if you're in a property and you've got your mortgage, you're secure, you're not like, everything's just so uncertain with jobs and stuff that I think a lot of people are staying put, and that's completely understandable. I would be exactly the same way. So it's meant that a lot of what is there just isn't really that great, and anything that is great gets taken straight away. So a lot of the ones that I was looking at, there's a lot of fixer-uppers, so they'd cost me even more money long term because I'd be having to do so much work. Like, they're very dated, very, like, just in need of a lot of TLC, or they're heavily overpriced, which is another big thing. A lot of properties are very overpriced at the moment, and it's a steep overpriced. Like, I'm talking like tens of thousands overpriced. So that kind of put me off as well, because if I'm spending a certain amount of money and I know that in a normal climate I'd be able to get like 3 bedrooms and a garden and a driveway, but in the current climate I can only get like 2 bedrooms and a tiny garden and a driveway. Like, obviously if you know that you can get more, it's worth holding out. And that's kind of the majority of my thought process, is that I don't want to buy something that I know I could get cheaper. I don't want to get something that's like slim pickings and I'm going to have to fix up straight away if I don't have the finances to do that. And I also would just rather hold on and just see what else comes up over time. But renting is not going to be a long-term solution. The absolute maximum time I'm going to be renting is 1 to 2 years, depending on obviously what happens in a year's time, if this whole thing is still lingering, if there's good properties around. Like, ultimately my focus is finding the right property for me and not going for speed. Like, I want to make sure that where I'm moving is somewhere I love and not just somewhere that I'm getting because I need or want to move right now. So this place I'm renting now, like the next house, is going to be a 1-year tenancy, and then we'll see what happens. So maybe in a year I'll be buying, maybe in 2 years, maybe James is going to move in, who knows. But hopefully it's going to be a really short-term solution in the grand scheme of life. Like, a year is not that much, and it just gives me that extra little bit of time to save and just to kind of refine what I want and really find that. And also living back in the area I think will help in terms of like finding the spot that I want to live in, as opposed to being in London and not being able to like properly go and assess. Like, obviously I've lived there, so I kind of know the good and bad areas, but I want to be there and just like scope it out, because there is so many new builds going up all the time at the moment, and there's so many like buildings everywhere that I maybe haven't come across yet. And I've kind of got myself sold on the idea of having like not a cottage or like a countryside house, but a house that's kind of a little bit further out of the town, a little bit more greenery and a little bit more life, like a little bit more like nature around the life. So we'll see what happens. Back on topic, I am moving this weekend. There will be moving vlogs coming up. I am very, very excited, and I just cannot wait for a new chapter of life. But I am really going to miss this flat, and I'm going to miss living here, and just, I think because it's the first place I've lived on my own and like properly enjoyed and like had my own space and decorated it how I want and made it my own, it's going to be so bittersweet to leave, because it is just, it's home, like it's my home. And it's the first place since I left my parents' house where I've really felt like I'm at home, and I just really love it. So it's going to be really sad to leave. It is an absolute state right now. If you could see like away from this little one viewpoint that I've given you, there's just kind of stuff everywhere. But I'm very excited. So hopefully you will be looking forward to the moving vlogs and joining me on this next chapter of life. I'm gonna stop saying I'm really excited, but I am. It's gonna be a stressful weekend, hence filming this a month in advance, but I will be updating on stories and stuff. So make sure you check out my Instagram for the moving updates. So I'll be sharing with you like the empty flat tours, packing, decluttering, moving in, like first nights, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, there's a lot coming and a lot to look forward to, and I'll end the video here. So don't forget to hit the like button if you're excited for my move, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get a notification every time I upload, and make sure to check back for the moving videos. They're not going to be this week, they're going to be coming in like a week or two's time, so I will be letting you know on the community tab and also on like Instagram and stuff, so check there for updates. But it's going to be a full week, fingers crossed, if I can film enough stuff. Normally I get really overwhelmed with packing and don't film as much as I'd like, but we'll see what happens. And yeah, very excited to move. See you in my next video. Bye guys!